special event alert.
True story. I was driving my fancy brand new Mazda sports car on the main drag of Buckley Air Force Base, and I flipped it over trying to avoid a prairie dog.
Which is excuse number 71 for being late for changeover.
No!
Weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
You lost me at fancy Mazda.
And our puzzle princess is back, Anna Mondragon.
You had me at prairie dog. I like prairie dog. They're so cute.
And of course, Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Woo! I'm just glad you're here and didn't die in a flipped over vehicle.
No.
Yeah.
Way to bring it down. Way to bring it down.
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other lower branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover. Wow, we got a really full house. That's great.
Yeah, it is
Full
great.
houses.
Good to see you all there. And we're joined by our special guest, retired Chief Master Sergeant Michelle Zayatz.
Hey.
Hello.
Very
Who has,
nice.
who
Honored
has
to be
made
here.
her reputation all over Colorado, from
All over, and
Greeley down to Colorado Springs and out to Falcon, and probably
There you go.
beyond. Probably.
beyond. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chief, when did you retire?
14 years and 22 days ago from the reserves.
Now we got to do math.
From the reserves.
What's that in Julian date?
February of 2011. February of 2011. And then I retired just a year ago from my civilian job with Northrop Grumman.
God,
Nice.
double
Oh.
retirement.
So you're
That's awesome.
retired.
I am
But
100%
you got
retired.
you were in when they had pension was still good, right?
I know because yeah,
Oh.
kinda. It was 50%. But
Oh,
because I only did 4 years of active, all of my remaining 21 years was Guard and Reserve. So
Oh
I'm
no,
getting
I
paid-
mean
oh.
with Northrop.
Oh, yes, I have a full pension with Northrop.
Yeah, because Northrop
Yes.
got rid of
Nice.
the pensions, what,
Yes.
15, 14, somewhere around
2014, they locked it down. I was vested the day I
wow.
retired in 1998. Yeah.
there, I think? All right, you going to tell us when
Yeah.
you joined up?
Ooh.
The Air Force,
But
delayed
sure.
enlistment, February of 1982.
I almost
Oh,
said
okay. That's
I
not so
almost said
bad.
1990.
And
That's
now
not
I'm
so
still the
bad.
oldest.
Thank you.
I mean, but that's not far.
Thank you.
That's not far. So
Yeah.
that's pretty darn close.
Came on active duty May of 82. So
Eric,
Still the
when was your date of service?
Old
October of
saggy.
81.
Ah!
October of 81 is when I went to see the recruiter. and then
I was
have a
already
story
there.
about. Yeah, I was already in the
Yeah.
recruiter's office in October, but I didn't go into delayed enlistment until the following February.
All right, Chief.
You know,
Well, then we're
yeah.
close.
Yeah.
We're
I think that's
Yeah,
I think
we're
it's
close.
pretty fascinating because at that time, military was not the profession to go into, right? The early
Especially
80s.
not
that
for
was,
women. Not for women.
Oh yeah,
No,
I forgot about
No,
that
that
piece.
wouldn't make
Yeah,
Not for women.
yeah, right.
Think about that. Yeah.
Chief, you came
I got a good
in
story.
as what? What's the space history there? You
I
got?
came in as a open general. My SFAB wasn't all that great, but I
No.
picked open general. And then during basic training, when they gave you the list,
What they give you,
chose
cop
air
or
traffic
open
con-
general?
Well, no.
Personnel.
In fact, it was funny because no, I didn't want personnel. No offense, sweetie. No offense. But I wanted something that had to do technology-wise. So it was either air traffic control, which at the time was a 274, or aerospace control and warning systems operator, which was a 276. And that could
Oh,
take you AWACS, ground radar, or space, all three. And that's when
Wow.
that's
Very cool.
I got it. Yep. I got the 276 and stayed 276 until the change over to 1 Charlie 6 by the Air
Oh,
Force.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
And that's when I joined the Guard in Greeley. I became a 1 Charlie 6 from 276.
So did you go active or did you go straight into a guard?
No, I was 4 years active duty. I did a
What was
year
your
in
first
Iceland.
duty station at then?
Iceland, man.
Iceland.
Here's the story. Here's the story.
That's cool.
14 students in the class, and their instructor comes in last day. He's handing us our orders in manila envelopes. And the first guy gets Hickam Air Force Base, Hawaii. And the next guy
Dick.
A
Don't
butt liquor.
the next guy gets, believe it or not, Rota, Spain.
Oh
The
man.
next guy gets Rockville, Iceland, which was considered a remote assignment, but you were only 50 miles from Keflavik, so you had civilization around you.
Wow. Okay.
Perfect.
And then the next one was Hoffen, which was a remote site on the southeast corner of this country in Iceland. And then the next one, Hickam. And then the next one, Rhoda. And then the next one, Rockville. So I started counting all the way around.
You're a scout.
Oh, no.
And I got the remote site.
No way.
Hoffen. 100 guys, 10 women, didn't buy a drink for a whole year.
Huh?
Nice.
Okay.
You got to like that
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Way to
I
play
was
that to
single,
your
you know,
advantage.
I could do it the way I wanted. I was single,
Heck
single.
yeah.
Where was tech school at?
Keesler Air Force Base.
Oh,
in
it was?
Biloxi, Mississippi. Yeah.
So was
The
this
miserable
radars?
part of the
Is
Gulf.
this what was it?
It was all three. We learned the basics of AWACS, ground radar, or space.
Oh, wow.
And then
That's
depending
cool.
on
That's
then
cool.
where the Air Force needs were, you went where you were needed. So I went ground radar. That was in Iceland. We intercepted the Bear bombers out of
Yeah,
Russia.
right. Coming
Going
over the poles, right?
How do you
Coming
spell
over the
Hoffman?
poles. HOFN, and the F has a little tink above it. It was short for Hafnarfjörður,
An umlaut.
Ah.
and it was on the
I just-
southeast corner of the state. It jutted out into the Arctic Ocean, or the
I'm
North
eager
Atlantic.
to watch this. What's going to happen here? It's like
Light bulb.
What are you guys doing?
HOF.
I know where I
Oh my gosh! But what a
When did
what a
it-
unique,
so,
unique
How far
assignment.
into your career were you when your first duty station got shut down?
Got shut down?
Yeah.
Well, Hoffen.
Yeah.
It was turned into believe it or not, it was turned into a rehab center in the mid to late 90s. They took Rockville and Hoffen because the buildings were there and the Icelandics owned them, and they turned them into rehab centers.
And the
So I think
crazies got the remote, and the somewhat sane ones.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
weed and shrooms guys got in town. Freaking messy bastards were outside of town.
Very possible. Very possible.
Holy crap.
But yeah, but it had been open since the 50s. There were 5
Wow,
major radar sites in Iceland since the early 50s.
Oh,
Was that-
man.
And I was the
Really?
first woman to begin the second full rotation of women, because it was only men up there until 81.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I started the second full rotation of 10 women, like I said, and 100 guys.
Holy
And it was
cow.
like MASH. It was like MASH, but with buildings.
I was going to say,
No
is that
fresh
like
eggs.
walking into
Yeah.
a lion's den with red meat on
Yeah, they were good. They were good. I held my own, but they were good. The worst
Right
part
out
was
of
the
tech
Navy
school,
guys.
too?
Navy guys.
Oh, man.
Right out of tech school. But we had buildings. You had to have landlines between the buildings because the winds. We were out
So
on
cold.
the ocean.
Yeah.
A man-made.
Yeah.
No, the wind. It wasn't cold. It wasn't that cold at all. Actually, it wasn't. You wouldn't think
Huh?
it was very.
I can't imagine
Just
the
the
wind.
wind. Just the wind. If you didn't, you had buckets of rocks inside the barracks doors and a scale,
Oh.
and you had to stand on the scale. And if you didn't weigh
Yeah.
140 pounds, you filled your pockets and your parka with rocks.
Oh, wow. So,
So you
No,
could walk the landlines because you
really?
could get blown into the ocean. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That would have been me.
Got to the other
I
end,
wanna-
you pick rocks
My
out so
piglet.
somebody else could use them.
I
Yeah.
want to know who came up with that. You know?
Somebody who fell into the ocean.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
very
somebody who got. No, we actually there was
technical-
one of our guys had gotten blown into the ocean, and
It's a
they
very
decided,
technical way
no,
of doing
when the
things.
high winds were up, we had wind meters all over the place. We knew when it was bad,
Whoa,
and you
wow.
had to, especially when it was 12-hour or 23 hours a day of no light.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
you,
So
you were up
That
there.
sounds terrible.
No,
didn't
actually,
really
it was
have-
a beautiful, beautiful country. It was beautiful.
you didn't really have the
It looks pretty.
low temps
Yeah.
like Thule then. You just had
No,
more.
correct. No,
Okay,
because
all
Thule's all ice. We had a
Yeah.
lot of green, no trees. There's no trees in ice. In fact, they always say there's a tree behind every sheep. But there's a lot of sheep, a lot of potato farming, but no trees. Nothing to
Wow.
break the wind, but we were on a man-made
Wow.
peninsula that went out into the ocean. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow,
It was a
that's
beautiful country.
fascinating. That's
It was
fascinating.
beautiful. Yeah, but no
So-
no fresh eggs or fresh milk for a year.
Oh, that's tough.
Whoa.
Oh, do they give you the powdered
powdered-
stuff?
Powdered eggs, powdered milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were lucky, we could go down to the local village, but if there was not enough stock for the villagers to buy, they wouldn't let us buy them because
You know,
they had to make sure the villagers had fresh eggs.
I'm trying to think
Smart
back
move.
to like World War II, where like the women would like trade nylons and stuff for like chocolate bars. You're like the first woman up there on rotation. You're like, hey, give me some eggs, baby.
Yeah, but
Give
like
me
I
some
said, I
milk.
didn't.
She
pay
had
for it. I
omelets.
didn't-
She had omelets
Yeah,
all day, every
omelets.
day.
Yeah,
Yum.
didn't pay for and I was only 18, but I could drink.
Well, sure. I mean,
Because the drinking age at the time was 18 in the military.
yeah, right.
Yeah. it was
What's
great.
their
I loved
beer?
it. I'm
What's
sorry.
What's their like famous beer?
We had all the American stuff. Everything was shipped in. We
Oh.
also
Yeah.
had ration cards. We had ration cards for liquor.
Oh wow,
Okay.
wow.
You could get
yeah.
a bottle of vodka, a bottle of gin, a bottle of scotch every month, and you had a little thing that they'd stamp your card.
That's the same way it was in Turkey in '82. Saying Insulik
Yep.
ration
Yep.
cards
Yeah.
going into the freaking
Ration
class
cards.
store.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
but see,
pretty cool.
Eric was beating people up and taking their ration cards, and he was
No,
like,
no,
I've
I
got
was, I was playing
Full
football.
house,
Remember?
bitches.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and football
It
guys
really
never
was-
drink
it-
after practice. So
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
right.
drink after
But it was a phenomenal assignment. And then from there, I came to Buckley to
Wow.
work. DSP.
and then you got out of active duty at Buckley, and then went to the guard.
At Buckley,
up
went to the Guard, Mississippi. I did 3 state guards. I did Mississippi for a year and a half, and then had a 5-year service break. Went to Germany with the hubby.
What was the Mississippi Guard? What was that mission?
That was the 255th Air Control Squadron. We were changing missions. We
Oh,
were ground
I
radar,
gotcha.
but then we
Yeah.
were turning into another mission. I was at training NCOIC.
All right.
Then went to Germany with the hubby. We were in Berlin before, during, and after the wall coming down. So that was pretty exciting.
Oh,
that.
damn.
That's cool. That's
Pretty
historical, man.
Yeah.
that was
yeah,
great.
Right.
I got I got 100-pound chunk of the wall in my backyard. It's great.
Oh wow.
And then from there, New York State Guard, and again, I was training the guys that were going to Columbia to run the radars for the drug missions. So we ground radar there.
Getting
Yeah.
some
Wow.
Fidel.
It was great. I wish I could have gone. They wouldn't let me go. Only women
No,
could go,
you're
or
an
only men
you're an
could go.
instructor. That's right.
Yeah. And then from there, Colorado Guard, and I worked at the air-to-ground gunnery range outside of Fort Carson for our F-16s, our Red Eyes out of Buckley. Scored the wing commanders on their flying and their bomb dropping.
That's
I got
cool.
another story there too. And then from there, went to Greeley and stood up the 137th for the DSP
Oh,
class.
wow.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And then was there 2.5, 3 years, and then was one of the original 5 founding members of the 8 Space Warning Squadron.
Who convinced you to come down to 8 Swiss?
The guard.
Instead?
Dude,
Oh,
it sucked.
really?
Yeah. It was horrible.
Couldn't
But
get promoted, couldn't do
couldn't get promoted. Sexual harassment was rampant. It was horrible. It was horrible. So, but I had heard that that 8 Swiss, I had gotten a civilian job with TRW first.
Oh, well, there you go.
Second
Yeah.
Swiss.
Yeah.
Heard about the reserve unit standing up, knew a couple of the people, and said, I want to transfer from guard to reserve. And my career just took off from there. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's
I've been very blessed. Very, very
Man.
blessed. Yeah.
And when were you in the 302nd?
Well, I was not in the 302nd. I was part of the 8 Swiss, which 302nd was
but
our.
you had to
was
go
a-
302nd for manpower.
Mhm.
That's right.
for
Yeah.
everything.
The 310 Space Wing, and then you had the
No, group.
detach-
The group.
310 Space Group.
Defense Space group. Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then we were
Eric,
detached.
Anna
Yeah.
was doing CSR stuff at 302nd, right?
Yeah.
You were in the 302nd Airlift Wing,
Yeah.
which was
So anybody
doing
in
all
the-
the personnel stuff for the 310th Space Group.
Group.
I got you.
Right.
And so
They took
that's
care
how
of us.
they
Without
ran
them, we
into each
didn't get
other.
fed. We didn't get lodging.
Yeah.
We didn't get paid without the 302nd. Right.
Right.
We worked
right.
with the 302nd cops constantly, especially on.
Oh, you
mobility
did?
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deployments
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they got
We all those guys.
there's a damn lot of cops down there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse.
Hide your women.
Look at what I have.
Why
Oh,
do you have a
nice.
machete?
What the
The
hell?
zombie apocalypse.
Jimmy bought it for me today
Too many cops.
for the zombie apocalypse.
Is
Yeah,
it
nice.
actually
I know
sharp?
you guys live a little bit
Oh,
out in
yeah.
the sticks, but my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got a saw on one side.
He said it was $5. He's like, it was on sale for $5. Here you go.
I had to have one of those. True love.
Nice.
True love.
I was like,
Yeah.
Good
cool.
call.
Yeah, he
How's
was
the
driving
sheath
by the
look?
corner
Is
and
it
the
good?
guy's like, roses? And he's
Yeah,
like, no
yeah,
roses.
no,
He's like,
I want a
machete?
machete.
He's like, oh, I'll take one of those. Yeah. Wife will love that.
My old lady does not like roses, but the machete you had me at.
That's a perfect Lent gift. A Lenten
Very cool.
gift. Here's your machete for Ash Wednesday.
Nice.
That's great.
Sorry.
That was really cool. I didn't know that. So I look forward to interviewing you. You should listen to Eric's. Anna's was funny. Jake's is. We should redo yours, Jake. When we did it
Oh,
so
it's that
early
good?
on. Yes, it's that good. It's too good. That's what it's too good. Hearing about the llama farm and all that.
Can I find them on YouTube? Can I
Yeah,
find
they're all
those
out
episodes?
there.
Oh,
You
all
gotta
right.
go
I'll do a search.
You got to go back a few years.
Way
Anna,
back.
We did.
Okay.
We just did last year. So
Yeah.
All right.
I want
right.
to see Jake's now.
oh yeah,
That was
Jake's
like
is great.
3 years ago.
That
Yeah.
Jake was one of the first like 5 interviews I ever did. It's really
It was a
entertaining.
practice round for sure.
So Eric, if I got to ask, all of us are reserve or work together at one point. How did you get into the mix of this craziness?
Yeah, a little weird. Marty and I had a mutual friend who was moving. And we were both helping her move. And him and I started a conversation, and
Oh,
he talked about interviewing people for the Swearing In podcast. And
Yep.
yeah, it sort of took off from there, man.
And then it was Eric who said we should do more, and that's the genesis of this show.
Yeah, it's so, I mean, we had so much fun with it when we first started. And
Yeah.
not that we are now, but a lot of fun. I'm like, damn, this could go somewhere. Let's have fun. Let's keep
Well,
doing
like I've said before, the original iteration of this was you were supposed to bring a story to talk about. And then
No.
Jake stopped bringing any stories, and then Eric stopped bringing any stories. And I
I
was
don't
like,
think I ever started, Marty. Let's
how do
be
I
honest.
get
Oh,
these
you
guys to
did.
keep coming back? And I was like, all right, fine, I'll just show up.
You should have made stories
that's the
up.
qualification.
Yeah, you
Show
kept
up.
thumb down the stories. You're like,
I did
"Eh."
not. I
Oh.
never thought.
So we're like,
That's a lie he's been spreading for the last couple of years. That's not true. That's not true.
I got tired of being micromanaged, so I was like, all right, Marty, I'll just.
So, Chief, it really worked out that you had to have a token cop beating up on a bunch of space weenies. See?
Yeah, it's nice.
So
Yeah,
It's worked out pretty
true.
good.
Yeah, that's true. Not that they've never done that before. Let me tell
Well,
you.
that's true. It's an easy target,
Yeah.
but then again, so are cops. They're easy
Yeah.
targets too.
Yes,
I must say
yes.
so. Let's put I was
There-
going to be a cable and antenna maintenance specialist.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
And
remember
then
that.
day
I
one,
know,
they
I
were
don't
like,
remember that. I gotta go back and
Cop,
listen to your own
cop.
interview.
cop.
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 Well,
Day
cop.
one, cop.
it was we can't
Yeah.
take you right away if you're going to do the cable
Ah.
antenna maintenance specialist.
Yep. So
And
you
I
would
said-
have had to
So he
wait.
said, I don't want to
Yeah.
wait.
And I said,
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. And they're like, well, here's your M16. Go out there.
There you
Now,
go.
in
Go
all
out there.
fairness to Eric, he wasn't a beat cop. He was he did some
Right.
special. He did stingers. He did
Yes.
some other special
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, we had some pretty cool
Nice.
assignments.
What was the base defense
Nice.
team called?
Well, that was the 1009th Training Squadron out in the Philippines.
Yeah, but
Air Base Ground Defense.
yeah, air base ground defense. That's it. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
there
taught
you go.
that.
Yeah.
So I got my
Missile
principal of
pigs.
instruction and became my instructor. And
missile pigs.
Missile pigs.
yeah.
Oh, those pigs have missiles. Yep.
And
Those are missile
Woo!
Anna joined because they bought her lunch. Her sister bought her lunch. So she
bunch of
snacks.
snacks.
Oh, sorry.
All about
Snacks. That's right.
snacks.
Yeah, it was about
pigs.
snacks.
That had me.
Can I tell
That's
my
even-
recruiting story or no?
Oh,
Yeah,
Really
of course.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your recruiting story?
So I graduated from high school in '81 and wasn't going to go to college.
Oh, okay.
Had no plans to do anything really. I was the only daughter of 6 children. My parents couldn't afford to send me to college, and wasn't interested in being a cashier all my life. So my dad did Air Force a few years in the 50s. My oldest brother had been in the Navy by that time, a couple of years.
All right.
So I figured Army. Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
there you go.
Okay. So I
Don't
go down
encourage
to
this
the-
behavior,
the-
Marty.
This is when all the recruiters were all in one building. In fact, they all had a central area of waiting. And then over here was Coast Guard and Marines, and all of them were attached to each other. So they could wave at each other from across the office. So I go into the Army recruiter and I sat down. I had made an appointment. I sat down and I said, look, I've got nothing for me here. I'm looking for a little adventure, maybe some skills. And this is the absolute truth. I wish I could remember the guy's name. He said, you know what you can do for the Army, honey? You can go across the hall and join the Air Force. I'm naive, not thinking. I had no idea that this guy was being a sexist pig.
Oh, yes. It's space.
It didn't register. It didn't
Yeah.
register. And I said,
Okay.
okay. So
Yeah.
I got up. I walked across the hall. I knocked on the Air Force tech sergeant's door. He opened it. He waved to the Army E6 and said, "Thanks, bud." And 29 years later, I retired as a Chief Master Sergeant. You motherfucker.
That's what I'm talking about. Hell yes.
Yep.
Very good. Wow.
Yeah.
That's for you.
Man, I wish I had knew at the time how naive I was being and say something to him, but
No.
I wish I could go back and find him and tell him, "Hey."
I love that you carry that anger for all those
I
years.
know.
Oh yeah!
Right?
Oh yeah!
Still.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Still, 78
So
years later,
Texas.
and still full of rage. Fucking A.
All right, Jake.
So you were in that was right around like Private Benjamin movie and all that stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. I wanted the yachts. I wanted the yachts.
Oh man, that's
my
great.
recruiting story. But if it hadn't been for that Army guy, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I would never have met Marty. I never would have met my husband. You name it, right?
And you know that guy was like, you know what I just told her? High five.
Exactly. And the recruiter was like, "Thanks for sending her over." You know.
But
Hey.
you know, the likelihood is high that recruiter's probably got kicked out of the service for probably
More
sleeping
likely.
with one of his recruits. So
I bet.
Wasn't it
More
like
than
that?
likely.
yeah,
It was like that back then, though. So
It
that-
was
that type of-
absolutely horrendous. Yeah.
there was
That type
a
of
lot
behavior
of
was
that.
very normal, especially
Yeah.
for the Army.
For
Yeah,
some
yeah.
reason, I'm really feeling so much older now. Thanks. Way back then. Wasn't it like that way back
Way
then?
back then. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
way
Back
back
then?
then.
It was.
Yeah. Phew. Way
Ashtrays
back
in the
then.
middle of the conference room table.
And
Oh, well,
ashtrays
yeah,
on
man.
the
Yeah.
console. Ashtrays on the console. Space
In the
ops,
vehicles,
midshift,
baby.
smoking everywhere
Yeah,
you
that's
went.
right.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's like so cool.
I have been.
I'm
I have
at
long
work
What?
getting-
Go ahead.
Like waking up with nicotine. Now you can't even
Well,
do that. I know I said
mean,
it right.
I remember sleeping in the Humvee and the platoon sergeant and the platoon leader in the other Humvee, and this guy was an old guy from North Carolina, literally like missing teeth, E7, and you would hear him wake up in his coughing fit, and then you would hear him light up, and he'd be like,
Yeah.
Oh,
and he
that's
was
better.
fine, and I was like, oh my god, this guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That is
Did that
crazy.
turn you on, Marty?
Yeah, it's like
Hell yeah.
you're in
I
a
know-
man.
I
You're in a
knew-
man's
I knew
army.
people-
Yeah.
I knew women in basic training that started to smoke just so they could get away from the TIs.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah.
We talked about that.
I tried
Get
to
a break.
smoke.
Yeah.
I tried to smoke because I noticed that the
They got shit
personnel,
tons of breaks.
yeah, they would go out for like 30 minutes
That's
and
right.
hang out.
What
And
was
so
your
it's like-
technique? What was your little technique?
I'm gonna smoke too. Huh?
I'm gonna smoke too. Did you actually inhale, Anna, or did you, just
I
pretend?
couldn't do it. It gives me headaches. There's no way.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But it got you a
She
break.
did, she did just the pass
My
by.
throat gets sore. My
I'm
throat
in a second hand.
No,
The thing's got an ash out to here, but she's holding it like, oh, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Funniest-
funny. That's funny.
Okay, funniest. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
you guys would get this. Okay.
Okay.
Remember, you had to do like some sort of chore in the military, like whatever, what stocking toilet paper, raking leaves.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure,
you work
some
for the first
additional
sergeant.
duty or something like
Yeah,
that.
you work for the first sergeant.
Yeah.
Butt pickups, cigarette butts. Yeah.
That was
Painting
me.
rocks.
They made me do that. And I was like,
you
I
didn't
don't
even smoke?
I don't even smoke cigarettes. Here I am
Pick up
picking
cigarette
all these
butts.
cigarette butts. At least give me a glove.
Yes,
You know,
I
I had to
know
do
it.
it with a regular hand. We didn't have gloves.
It is funny, as many like FOD walks or police calls that we've all done, and how many cigarette butts and smokers would just. I mean, that's so presumptuous. Is like
Yeah.
beep,
Boink.
and just toss
Yeah.
it. To like, some knucklehead E2 will pick
We'll
this
pick
up.
it up.
To
That
pick
was
that up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's crazy.
Horrible thing.
Oh man, that was entertaining. I don't even
I
know if we
know.
need stories, but let's do some stories. We'll go through them quick anyway, right? So let's go through the news. Our first story. I don't know if I should put banners up because they're going to cover you guys, but our first story is from Space.com.
Well, I don't think you'll mind if we cover up Jake. That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's getting in the spirit.
Solid,
There you
solid.
go. Let's
Hey,
see.
Jake,
So our first story is from
he's saying you have a big
Space.com.
dick.
Oh, that's too big. That's too big. But I don't know what she said.
I'm excited about Bush and Suni. That's all I'm excited about. I'm just using it.
Never mind.
Wow, Anna. Shots
Bush and
fired
Suni.
at
I didn't
We
hear
s-
what she said, so I'll have to watch it when you air it. Yeah, I didn't
We
hear what she said.
stepped over a line. Boink.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's all
Oh,
right. Anna's back, and she's empowered by a chief.
The
master
chief.
sergeant
That's
here,
true.
so-
Yeah.
Well, from Space.com, Butch and Suni are coming home.
Yay.
Finally,
I-
right?
I think this
maybe we
was
can
thanks
find
to
her a hair
us.
tie when she lands.
That's true. Yeah. I think this was
Sorry.
in part because of us raising awareness last week.
I think
I'm-
so.
I'm taking
You
full
know,
credit of.
What I really regret is that we never actually did any skits because we were right on the edge
Oh,
of doing
man.
skits for them for the last 8 months, man.
We would spend first 15 minutes of every show just trash talking every one of these events.
Hammered, oh man.
Two NASA astronauts who launched on a short mission at the International Space Station last year that turned into a 10-month marathon finally know when they'll be coming home. The Boeing Starliner astronauts who launched on the spacecraft's crewed flight test on June 5th. June 5th. That's
Man.
crazy. Have been living aboard the International Space Station ever since their capsule returned to Earth without them. On last Friday, NASA cleared a relief crew to launch on SpaceX Dragon tomorrow. It's scheduled for tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Yep.
Elon
clear-
said, "You got to get my stock back up for Tesla before I launch."
Exactly.
It could have been.
Yeah. Get my shit ready first.
Right. Let's see. Do we have a current picture? We do. So
Is it going to show
there
when she
they
needs a hair
are.
tie?
Look at
That
that.
woman needs a hair tie. I'm sorry.
Uh,
There's got to
her
be a
hair has
scrunchie in
been like
space.
that for
She
almost
should
10
have borrowed that guy's headband.
Exactly.
I know.
This is crazy.
That's why
I mean,
all the Velcro's full. Right there. She's blowing morale because the Velcro's not
Oh.
sticky anymore.
I gotta tell you what though, Butch doesn't look like he's lost much bone density there, man.
No,
he's
And
he's
looks
looking,
pretty muscular.
Yeah.
He's a
He's
little
pretty
puffy.
muscular on the
He's a
top
little-
half. Yeah.
He's a little puffy, but Nick Hague there, I think, is the guy taking over for Suni because I think she was the commander for a while. So,
Right.
Starliner departed the space
Excuse me.
station uncrewed last September. A few weeks later, NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gorbunov launched on the SpaceX Crew 9 mission with 2 seats aboard their Dragon spacecraft reserved for Williams and Wilmore during the return journey. Originally scheduled for February, all 4 will return together. So here's the part I didn't realize. They sent Nick Hague and the Russian up there with 2 seats available. And then
Right.
Butch and Suni was like, okay, we'll stay and we'll help you do your mission. And then all 4 of us will come back. So they,
Yeah, the other two- there was
not that they
two
have
other
much choice.
People up there that had been up there longer that they took the ride back.
Right. Right.
Right. They had been
So-
up there since March of last year, so it was their rotation to come back.
Right. So they've
okay.
essentially filled
Makes
in
sense.
for their Crew 9 mission that whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
they weren't just. I like it better how we painted them. That they're just they're just in the way. It's like, excuse me again, please.
They're like, "Can I please help?" I'm like, go away, dude. No, I'm the
Don't you have
maintainer.
anything else to do?
God, go play spades or check out the
Drinking up
smell
all the
from those
good.
Russian
But
capsule.
wouldn't you love that opportunity? I would give my left arm to go into space. And
Sure.
I would.
Yeah,
To
sure.
go
quit
into
smoking
space, maybe
I
not
would quit
go
smoking
stay up there.
everything, and I would give my left arm to go into orbit. And they contributed. You have to admit,
They
contribute.
did the mission.
Yes.
They did the
Yeah,
mission.
they did
right.
the mission. They did the
Right.
mission.
But at the
And it-
same time, if
They
you
made up missions for them to do.
let me get. Oh, I lost Anna.
They made up
Jeez.
tasks
Road
sequence for them to do.
Sorry.
They had to watch
Yeah.
the rats running in the wheel.
Exactly. They're like, go patch some of the debris holes.
Well, yeah.
on.
I mean, yeah. Go. It's time.
We
to
got
go
some
repaint.
trash that needs to go to the
again.
progress before we release it.
Exactly.
Bring it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But at the same time, I mean, if you were going TDY to the desert, and they're like, hey, you'll be there for a week. And they're like, oh, can you stay till 2026?
Yeah. That's rough.
You would have a little bit of the ass, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
For like
It
a
wasn't
date.
like they could count
Yeah.
down either.
Right.
It's not
Right.
like you have a countdown. You're like, oh, I got 4 months. Okay, I'll
Oh,
stay
that's
till then.
true.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
didn't know.
We're gonna try to get you
Right.
back sometime in.
Right.
Eh?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think their spouses here on Earth moved on?
Oh, they're pissed.
No.
They're
Oh my God.
pissed.
They're stuck in
Definitely.
space. They did.
No.
Yeah. It's
Butch is
way
gonna
better
walk
than a different
home.
zip code.
He's gonna
Janet!
get home and he's like, "Why is the grass 1.5 feet long? What is going on?" I don't know, man. You weren't here.
Yeah, but on the countdown thing, Eric is
She
old enough
hasn't
to
taken
remember
out the
this. But
trash
when you got your orders at the end of a remote assignment, you taped them to your dormitory door and you taught
Yeah, Figmo.
you wrote
Figmo.
Figmo.
Yeah.
And you could say either finally I got my orders or you could say something else.
After-
And you wore a yellow hat. They gave you a yellow hat to wear around the site so everybody on site knew you were short.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just walked around squatting.
That.
Chief,
But I get it,
don't
yeah.
don't let him bullshit you. Eric was off playing football for most of his deployment, so
Yeah.
he wasn't worried about Figmo at all.
Come
He
on.
put
Oh.
Figmo up, and then they're like, I thought that was the new guy.
It went on my helmet.
Fuck.
They put it on my helmet.
We've been pulling shifts for this son of a bitch.
This guy. This is the whole time.
Yes.
He's been here for 4 years.
Went on
That's
my helmet,
great.
man. I played for the Figmo team.
Exactly. Motherfucker.
So-
Oh, God.
SpaceX is launching tomorrow. They're going to bring up the next crew 10. There'll be a changeover, and then they'll bring them back by Friday. I think.
Is
by
it Friday?
Friday.
Really? That quick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It's
quick.
crazy because I
Yeah.
remember talking about it way like last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah,
seems so
absolutely.
far
It was
in my
crazy.
head.
Yeah, and that was I can't remember when you first started coming on the show, but yeah, it was around then. And then
Yeah, like October-ish.
yeah, and they didn't know when they were going to come back. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, geez, so they wrote out that mission. Good on them. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Throw that stinky T-shirt away now. Get rid of that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Sick.
yeah,
And
right.
get a hair tie, woman. Get a hair tie and some hairspray. God, man.
I get it, right? I mean, I
Running
if you
Velcro.
were a woman to just that would be really a cool sensation. But
But this
After
doesn't look all that
10
cool for the
months-
students watching her from Earth, wondering, did her head explode? Has she got
It's so
snakes in her
distracting.
hair?
It's like
You know.
an
every
omen
woman
to-
up there does that. It seems like they're like, oh, gotta let
that's
it go.
true. You're right. I remember
I don't know
Sally
why
Ride's
that
first
is.
ride. I remember
Yeah.
her in the shuttle, and she had the
Yeah.
hair all over the place. But was a novelty
And just to
back then.
give them some credit, this is Crew 10. Right?
Ooh.
Right.
Two American women, a what was it?
Japanese.
Japan Aerospace Exploration
Japan.
Agency, and another
Russia.
Russian.
Russia.
Another
Russian. Yeah,
Maybe he's going to fix that odor in the
that's great.
Russian capsule there, because we did that story too. So
Unidentified odor. Yeah.
let's see, left to
That's
right.
a young
NASA astronaut
crew.
Nicole
Alrighty.
Ayers. That hair is going all over the place. Look at that.
No.
That's going
Yep.
all
Not
over
if
the
she
place.
puts it in a ponytail.
So
But they
I wonder
never
if they
do.
could actually get
They
a
never
haircut while
do.
they're up there.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying
Like,
to convince people, kind of like, do you ever see the movie Capricorn 1? They want to convince people that she's really in
I
orbit.
Did see that? That's a movie you should have seen. Eric.
That-
Capricorn.
Oh,
1.
yes. If you've never seen it, you got to watch it.
Capricorn
But maybe
1
they're trying
was
to.
they faked the moon landing.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not a moon landing, a landing on Mars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Landing
okay.
on Mars.
All right,
And
but
both of Barbara
nobody
Streisand's
believed that.
husbands were in that movie, just as a trivia note.
Oh,
There we go.
Same time.
But you see, third
At the
from the
same-
left, NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She's already got that haircut in regs. You see,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
He's good.
that's not going to do
Good.
anything. Yeah, that's not going to do
Yeah.
anything.
No,
Yeah, she's not a
she can put a
Velcro.
little.
runner.
She can put a little gel in it and make it stand up.
That second
not.
patch looks like the old DOV colors, black
Doesn't
and purple.
Yeah.
The old DLV, Jesus. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It does, doesn't it?
Sure.
It has your
Yeah.
maintenance badge and your spings.
Oh yeah.
Like,
So that's what's going on with Butch and Suni. So good on.
Well, hope for a safe return for
Right on.
for all of them.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Welcome home.
Safe return. Yeah.
All right, very. Oh, sorry. Next story from space.com. For the second time in 2 years, Intuitive Machines has landed a lander on the moon. That's fallen over. That's twice. That's
Yep.
crazy.
It's
That's
because
that
of
intuitive army recruiter that tried to recruit the chief. He's fallen over by now.
I can only hope. I can only hope.
For the second time in as many years, a private Intuitive Machines lunar lander has tipped over on the moon. After a day of uncertainty following a harrowing moon landing attempt, the company Intuitive Machines sealed the fate of its latest lunar probe, Athena. The spacecraft, which attempted a historic landing in rugged terrain near the South Pole of the moon last Thursday, had toppled on its side inside a frigid crater. Now, here's the picture.
No
It's kind of
sun.
hard to.
big are these things.
It's kind of hard to
Yeah.
see, but you see those
Frigid.
struts pointing up. Those are the feet,
Oh my gosh.
and that's the
Oh.
Earth.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh
I don't know how they
yeah,
got
lit
that
up in the
picture.
background there. Yeah,
I
that's
don't know how
cool.
they got that picture.
Well, I think it had a camera on one of the arms that
Oh,
it still
okay.
was able to take a
All right.
picture. Yeah, yeah.
It's mooning the earth.
It's mooning the earth.
mooning.
its struts do look like they're in struts, in leg
Yeah.
stirrups, right?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
could be mooning the Earth.
Yeah.
Happened
It
to do
almost
it,
looks like
shot
a
a,
few-
fireball and fell over.
That's why we have Anna here, because I would have never thought that in a million years. Well
It
done.
looks like just a few hundred yards further, it would have fallen in the sun and been able to recharge its batteries.
What
Oh,
they
that
were
was
it.
saying, yeah, it could have been because that gets limited sun on the south pole of the moon.
Mhm.
And this one, unlike their first one, where the solar panels were still exposed, this one didn't have that same exposure. They knew it wasn't going to recharge, so they called it and said it's dead.
Hence
Unfortunately,
another piece of space junk.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we're dropping a lot of junk up there, right?
On the
We're
moon.
To
dropping a
quote
lot
the
of stuff.
famous
Yeah.
Jay Raymond, space is hard.
Ah, very good. Yeah, very
Space
good.
is hard.
Space is hard.
But you never know. Somebody might land on the moon and have to go
Tip
and
it
walk
back
and
up
get the
for 'em?
power supply from that moon
Well,
landing. Like in the Martian,
only if it's
it
Matt
could be
Damon.
usul.
Only
Yeah,
if it's Matt Damon.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
And he's playing Donna Summer music. Yes.
let's see.
It's the same guy hitting the golf ball, Marty. You know where to go.
I know. Well, now he's got obstacles he's got to play through. I mean, we got how many
Yeah.
landers we got up there now? And
Yeah,
Chinese
no,
left a
it's-
lander there too.
Yep.
But they were proud that this thing landed only 400 meters from its intended landing site. So everything was good up until they just can't finish. They just can't
Yeah.
close the deal. You know,
Yeah.
the first one, their first lander fell over because a strut broke.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
But it broke.
But they're trying to land on the South Pole of the moon. The $62.5 million mission marked the second by Intuitive Machines for NASA under the agency's Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLPS program. So I don't know when the third one is, but they've obviously got all the tech to get it there.
Yeah.
They just need
And the
to
lift.
buy
And the lift. And the
Right,
launch
right.
lift. Yeah.
They just need to buy some better plastic landers, I guess. I don't know.
Junk. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I was wondering
That's
because
okay.
it landed on the side of a crater, right? So if it did that, why is there like geography jacked? Is it that they didn't see that crater?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
They
I don't
were
know how
off
much
target, right?
mapping.
You
Avoid
said,
the
Marty, they were
Yeah,
400.
right.
Yeah, they were 400
Yeah.
meters, so they were
So they
close
weren't
to where
bad.
they wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't give a lot of details about, like, did it land on a hill and then tumbled? I don't think anything broke this time. It just fell over. So
And also don't forget, it was only there to do a 10-day mission, because by the time
Right.
had it landed upright, by the time the moon's phases had changed, it would have run out of power in 10 days anyway.
So
They lost 10 days of data. They lost 10 days of data, and they'll try again. You know.
Damn,
Just
it's
like
good
the
to have
power
a
of
chief
Sonny's hair tie.
that
Only
knows
lasted
what's
10
going
days.
on, man.
After that,
Yes.
gone.
Brown
Very
nose and
positive.
cop.
All our shit is speculation. She's on it, man. That's what I'm talking about.
10 days.
10 days. Perfect.
It was all nice. Perfect, bud. Day 10.
That.
Okay, come on.
I was reading about one of these landers had they deploy some of these drones. One of them had like a drone like the size of a lighter or something like that that would go out and take pictures of itself. It would crawl all around the own lander and take pictures of it. And I was like, that's really badass tech.
It's
right?
really
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they power it? Just battery?
I don't know. I didn't
And
go
think about
into
the
it.
software that would be necessary to do that.
You're-
Wow.
Detail.
Chief, we do have a rule that you don't scratch the surface on some of these stories.
On these
That's
decals,
like-
you just
because we don't have all those details.
We have a thin veneer of knowledge. And then it's
Noted.
just bullshit.
Yeah,
Nothing but
says,
bullshit.
Noted.
Start asking pointed questions, and
you get in trouble that way. You really do.
you lost me at software. I was like, oh,
Oh, sorry. Okay.
yeah.
I'm going back to my HOFF.
My goodness.
Oh my
Be
God.
quiet.
All right, let's
Okay.
talk about the spies that they just caught.
I like the spice. They get
So,
bad boys. Which
I think I didn't write this down. I think it's from Task and Purpose. But 2 soldiers and an Army vet were indicted on charges of selling secrets to a Chinese agent. All right.
I thought the Chinese were our friends, right? China didn't spy on us,
Of course, they're. What is that status?
We
that
only
we
got
used to call the
10%
Chinos?
tariffs,
They're
not like
friends, but
frenemies.
they're like
Frenemies.
frenemies, like frenemies.
Frenemies.
status,
There
right?
you go.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so listen to this one. According to federal officials, 2 active duty soldiers and an Army veteran were arrested for conspiring to sell classified materials on Army combat vehicles, rocket systems, and military exercises to agents of the Chinese government. I remember when I first got into Cybers, I was like, oh, there could be secrets. And then the more you realize, it's like, these aren't secrets anybody's going to pay for. They're not going to pay for this stuff, right?
That's
Most
right.
of it's declassified anyway. It's out on the
Anyway,
internet.
yeah.
So
It's not
Well,
open
just 'cause
source,
it's
not
on the
necessarily
internet
confirmed or
doesn't mean-
denied, but it was there. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
As long as
absolutely.
somebody
I was like,
didn't confirm or deny it, it was okay. Yeah.
I wish somebody would offer me like, $100
The
grand.
ruby.
Yeah.
I'm calling your security manager. You are an insider, pal.
Yeah,
You
you just
are-
said that on recording.
Somebody's
You're
gonna
an
come knock on
insider.
my door and be like, "Here's a
What would you do with a ruby?
you out your secrets."
I'd be like, it's
What's
a
it
ruby.
worth?
What do I
What's it
do?
worth?
Do I go?
I
to
have
pawn
no
shop,
idea.
or what do I?
I wouldn't
I think it's
know.
negative 10 cents, isn't it? Or something like that.
The next time I get a phone call, it's like, "Did you know Marty Smith? Is he trustworthy?"
Yeah,
I'll be
right.
like, "Hold on, let me play this back."
He's an insider.
Fucking
He's
wish
an
I knew
insider.
secrets I could
That's
sell.
right. He's an
I
insider. for
wish I could get paid by that. I always wish for that.
How do you own a Lamborghini?
When they all come to
With the
interview us, they're
ruby
like,
I got
"We
from
never
working
saw
in
it
Simmers."
coming. Never saw it coming. It was a total shock."
It was just so normal. Every day we saw him.
Wow.
He just
Well-
got happy and stopped being envious of Eric retiring one day. I don't know why.
You do have due cause to get me arrested. That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Insider threat. buddy.
Sergeant Jean Zhao, Zhao, and Lieutenant Li Tian, Tian, are soldiers based at Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington. And Rio, I can't say that guy's first name. Duan is his last name, is a former U.S. soldier who was active between 2013 and 2017. All three were arrested this week on charges of handing over classified information to Chinese agents. So, but there were two separate incidents, all right? The first incident was with Zhao. Zhao was a battery supply sergeant for the 17th Field Artillery Brigade. Yeah, I'm a little bummed about the artillery there, but
What could he
Insider
possibly
threat.
give to the Chinese that they would give a crap about?
I'm glad you asked.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Zhao allegedly received around $15,000 for 20 hard drives that contained secret and top secret information, a stolen encryption-capable computer. I don't know what that is. Documents on the HIMARS, the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, and information about an Army Pacific exercise with regional allies. 15 grand. That's not a
It's
lot.
nothing.
Right?
You know, not to sacrifice your freedom for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just to test the
Wow.
waters.
Yeah, maybe. It could be.
Here-
So,
Here's the thing, though. I bet you that if we think back in any one of the facilities we've worked in, there is a cardboard box in the security manager's office with fucking random hard drives on it
oh, God, yeah.
so true.
that are like
Oh,
3,
yeah.
4 years old, and they're just waiting
Yep.
for a certain quantity to DRMO because
Before
it's
they
cheaper.
clean them
Yeah,
out. Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
But
It
then
wouldn't
again,
be.
Difficult.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, also to add on to your point, Jake, this guy's an E5. Do you remember what you made as an E5?
Oh, 15
15
grand.
grand would do a
Yeah,
lot
something.
for you as an E5,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he was selling stuff to some like middleman, and it was the middleman that he asked the Chinese middleman. He's like, "Do you know how risky this is?" And the middleman said, "If I were in your position, I would not dare." And he did it
Even the enemy's
You
telling
got
them
some
not
big
to
balls,
do it.
brother.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I'm
know.
telling you.
So,
So-
based on his name, Marty, is this guy any relation? I mean, does his? No, I'm talking about.
No, I'm
about
with
is he
you.
No.
Chinese? Is
Yeah,
he
I'm with
Right.
you.
Asian?
Right.
Probably
Okay.
targeted him for that.
That last
I would
name's a
imagine.
spy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
other
sure.
last
Yep.
names are Navy. Is that what you're saying?
Probably.
But because he had a clearance, the
Right.
Chinese zoomed in on this guy quickly. Yeah.
And
Well,
only.
now he was a supply guy for an artillery battalion, so he
He would
probably
still
didn't
need
have
a
anything
clearance.
above secret, but he did
Secret.
have
Maybe
secret,
yeah.
right?
How
No,
did he
he's
get
the
access to
top secret.
TS?
No, he said top
it
secret
didn't-
material.
Yeah, he
Material.
sent
Yeah,
top
so
secret
that means
material.
he stole it. Yeah, I mean
Which-
he stole it. Yeah.
In all fairness, I mean, if you are really motivated, you could get it. You know,
Sure.
you could probably get it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this other one, this guy was a Lieutenant Tian, who was a health services administrator. He was arrested for allegedly transmitting sensitive material on Bradley and Stryker fighting vehicles for $500.
Oh my god,
He got $500 for that.
$500, and this was a lieutenant,
he's
And
just a
health
dork.
Services.
and he was in health services. How's he getting stuff on a
How does
Bradley
he
and
get? That's what I'm
Stryker?
saying. How does it?
I don't know. Tian received $1,500 from Duan, the the former Army guy, for a white paper on commercial real estate investments on the East Coast. $1,500.
That's
It
open
seems
source too. What the hell?
really
That's
crazy sketchy, right?
yeah.
Yeah, really.
But Dwan, the former Army guy, he received 38.5 from 2 PayPal accounts based in China and 14.6 from 2 Zelle accounts. So he was cleaning up.
He
That
sat
guy
back and
was
said,
making money.
"Lieutenant, check this out.
This is how you do
Let me
it.
show you how to do this."
You want some real
do
money?
it.
Let me tell you how to do
Yeah.
it. So, these guys were charged in Oregon federal court with conspiring to commit bribery and steal government property between November 2021 and December 2024. The DOJ said. So it wasn't like conspiracy. I mean, they were conspiring, but it wasn't. What's the formal charge? Espionage. It wasn't espionage.
Right.
So,
Right.
and these guys probably would be like, "You guys, $1,500? What are you, stupid? That's
Stupid.
Yeah.
Come on, LT. This
I could
E5
find
is
you-
beating you.
I could find you more for drunk driving on base."
And more to the point, most of the stuff that they probably found was on open source anyway.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, it's like, why are the Chinese paying these guys, and they're risking their career, their clearances,
Sure.
possibly
I
freedom?
think that has to do, Chief, with what Jake was saying. You get that foot in the door, get them started, and then say, "Hey, go
Yeah.
give me some really good stuff."
Start priming them.
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
In a weird way, I actually respect that Intel reservist out in the East Coast who was putting it out on not Twitch, but he was putting it out on
On,
the gaming site or
it's the
whatever, right?
Massachusetts National Guard.
Yeah.
I have a nephew that
I think it was
worked with
Twitch.
That guy.
Could have been.
No, it wasn't Twitch. It was
What's
Discord.
the other one? Yeah, Discord.
Discord.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I get his
Good call, good call.
motivation because they were probably
yeah.
dogging him out online. He's like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah,"
and he
oh,
wanted
yeah,
to impress
look
him.
what I do.
Exactly.
And I
He wanted
get
to
that
impress him.
motivation.
But
Right,
the worst part
right.
about that kid was his leadership knew he had been violating his clearance
Oh.
and did not. In fact, more of them are going to serve time because they
Yeah.
never stopped him.
Yeah, well,
They
there
had
you
a
go.
chance to stop him and they didn't.
Yeah.
And
Taz,
man, I'll
you
tell
thought your
that was
ASFAB score was low.
yeah, exactly. And
This
he
guy
didn't
may
even
have beat you.
Yeah, he didn't even work in the Intel world. He just had access to safes, would scan copies, stuff it in
Right.
his shirt,
Right,
come
right.
home, upload them onto Discord to impress his friends.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that motivation. To be honest with you, I get that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. He didn't get any
Yeah, I
monetary. He didn't get anything for it,
No.
except for from his
Smackdown.
Discord
In,
friends.
in that
Right.
case, like Manning and those other ones,
Yeah, they,
Oh,
do you
Chelsea,
respect them
yeah.
more than $500? Like their ideals, what they did was wrong,
Ideals is
but
one
they-
thing, all right.
they
But
stuck
a
up to
kid
those ideals quick.
trying to bow up electronically to the other gamers, I get that.
yeah.
yeah.
Insider threat. Jake, I'm telling you, we could probably get a reward for turning Marty in.
Oh, guaranteed.
More than $500.
I'm gonna get a drive award right now. Oh,
I had
it's
a
all
chance
recorded,
once.
Marty. Like you can't.
I had a chance once to
I'm
turn
okay.
Marty in. Yep, I had a chance once when I not that I would have, but I must have had
Naughty.
in my
Old
career
laundry.
between reserves in Colorado and Northrop Grumman, probably 65 to 70 interviews with DIS investigators about employees.
Oh,
Yeah.
And do you recommend this individual to hold a clearance? Do you think they are a threat to the sovereignty of the United States? Do you think they want to overthrow the government? At any time, I could have said yes.
That Marty guy.
And
I
those
don't
people would
think
not have gotten a clearance.
I don't think
Not
I
you,
would have
Marty,
ever
but other
put
people.
you down.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's that. But if I could have done that, where was all the security protocols for all
Yeah.
these other idiots that are getting caught? Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
Sure.
you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
come on.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's close this out and let's talk about a story that
The
we
Army
probably. What?
The only one that I read was the Army enlisted.
Anna was so excited.
What's wrong with that?
She's like, Marty, wait, no, don't negate
Let's
all
skip
the
it. What do you
homework I
got for
did."
history, Eric?
No, I read
Running right along.
Dang.
All right, this last story from military.com, which Anna has read, which is great. We probably should have seen this coming if we'd have thought about it for a second. But the Army is losing nearly 1/4 of soldiers in the first 2 years of enlistment. So we've all heard how the Army's recruiting is up over the last several months, right before Trump's election. And then once Trump elected, they were getting 350 a day. I saw a report, something like that. And I get that. Because believe it or not, with the previous administration and the way the Army was going, people were just like, I don't want to be a part of that shit.
I don't want to do anything.
Let's go join strength. And then Trump does that, and Hegseth does that. And but there are some interesting facts about some of these recruits that are coming up, or that they're getting. And one of them was, the Army had started that whole courses, the get in shape, get smarter, dummy,
smart.
that kind of stuff, right?
Retake the ASVAB several times,
Yeah, and that's kind of coming back and biting them in the ass. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. The Army's grappling with a staggering attrition rate among newly enlisted troops, even as recent recruiting figures suggest the service is clawing its way out of a years-long enlistment crisis. Nearly 1/4 of soldiers recruited since 2022 have failed to complete their initial contracts.
Wow.
A fourth. God.
They're too busy trying to sell secrets for $500. Shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can get that on my GTC. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The military's recruiting challenges have largely centered around finding young Americans eligible to serve, a pool that the Pentagon has estimated at only about 23% of 17 to 24-year-olds. So that's across the population. They're saying in that age range, there's only about 23% that are suitable for military service.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
What's
Because
that
they're all
say about our
gamers.
society?
They are all
Men and women?
gamers.
All gamers.
Not
It didn't
men
distinguish.
and women?
It didn't distinguish.
specify?
It just said
Okay,
23.
okay.
The Pentagon has estimated that 23% of 17 to 24-year-olds are
qualify.
eligible to serve, right? Are eligible to
would
serve.
qualify.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
One senior Army official with direct knowledge of the service's recruiting efforts said only about 8% are eligible for a so-called clean enlistment, meaning the recruit didn't need any waivers or have to attend a prep course.
Unbelievable.
8%.
God.
According to service data, roughly 25% of prep course soldiers do not make it through their first contract. So a quarter are not making it and wash out of the Army within the first 2 years of their enlistment. But even more strikingly, soldiers who do not attempt the prep courses aren't that much better. They have a 20% attrition rate. So what is that saying about that population of youth? That they're just...
The Republicans have been successful in creating a stupid society. Number one.
2022.
Drugs, another one.
Well,
Drugs.
That's true. They did mention that.
ADHD, weed, right?
Yeah.
But they've been successful in dumbing down our younger people so they can't even get.
Well, that goes all the way to your education as well.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I'm saying.
PE
Yeah,
got
that's what I'm
quit.
saying. Yeah.
PE got
They said-
canceled years and years ago.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And I wonder if they really broke it down obesity rates with these people, with these youngsters, right?
There
You
is
know,
some. There is some of that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The numbers give the
Wow.
first public glance at the prep course's success. Some service officials interviewed by military.com noted the Army is in a difficult position and will come nowhere near meeting Manning standards without those courses. All right. So they're lowering standard, but they're not really lowering standards, but they are bringing people who would otherwise not qualify, try to prep them for 6 months and then pushing them in. Right.
Yeah.
But this was interesting. Here are the rates at which soldiers wash out of basic training. Soldiers who do not attend any prep course are 11%.
God.
Academic track prep courses drop at 15%. Fitness track prep courses drop at 16%. And soldiers who attended both prep courses, 18%. So they're not even making it out of basic.
Wow. And they got the courses.
Right.
Yeah.
To
They
get
took-
them
So
prepared.
18% of them drop out.
yes. If they've
That got the
attended
course.
both, it's almost a quarter that they're not going to make it through basic. Much less their enlistment. So
No way.
Oh
It
my
just
God.
makes you shake your head.
Well,
man.
listen to
Come
this.
on.
Yeah.
Moreover,
I
the
know.
Army has more than doubled the number of waivers it grants to new recruits from 8,400 waivers in 2022 to 17,000 waivers last year.
Oh my goodness.
What
More
are
than
Does it list what the
double.
waivers are for? Does it list what the
They're-
waivers are for?
That increase is largely attributed to MHS Genesis. Remember we talked to that?
Oh, that health.
Oh yeah,
system.
that health. Yeah,
system,
Gosh.
right?
yeah. Tracking
I knew
their
that-
stuff.
Yeah, a new centralized medical record system that gives the military unprecedented access to applicants' health histories. Some
okay.
recruiters say the system is disqualifying applicants over minor injuries or past treatments. Yes, we've heard that. While others note a dramatic rise in teenage medication use and diagnoses for conditions like ADHD
There
or
it is.
or hyperactivity disorder, or
Yep.
ADHD. The Army, now listen to this one. The Army has also loosened restriction on criminal backgrounds. Last year, the service granted 1,045 waivers for misdemeanor offenses. Okay, misdemeanors. That's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
That's up from 895 in
You stole a soda.
2022.
Okay.
More strikingly, it approved 401 felony waivers,
Whoa.
which quadrupled the 98 granted in 2022.
Oh my God.
Right? We better not go to
Wow.
war
Oh
anytime
my
soon.
God.
How
But I mean,
creative
it's
is that,
okay
that
because-
recruiter?
But I think about it. The commander in chief is himself a felon, so why should it be a problem?
A 34 time. Right?
A
Right?
34 time over. Exactly. It can't be a double standard. So if the commander in chief can be a felon,
I'm
why
sure
not let
they're
the
not-
army?
I'm
An
sure they're
interesting
not
perspective.
felonies for like gun crime or something.
Oh
like
yeah, I
I
think
wonder,
domestic
like-
violence was off that list.
Yeah,
right.
sure,
I think
sure.
so.
I
Yes,
wonder, like
yes.
back in the day, though, when they used to offer it, you can go Army or you can go to jail.
Go to jail.
Yeah.
I
They,
sung
they
the-
didn't
I
process
sung the
that.
cadence
They
for
were
that,
just
right?
like,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
Go.
right?
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
would all
Yeah.
been misdemeanors or
Mhm.
felonies
And they all went to
That's
that
true.
Vietnam.
never got prosecuted.
And they all went to
prosecuted.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Exactly. And probably
And
came
those were
home in a
drill
body
Or
instructors.
Afghanistan.
Those were
Yeah.
drill instructors that could instill some
That's
drilling
right.
to make you freaking
Yeah.
obedient.
But-
I knew a recruiter commander that, and this wasn't very recent, but recent enough that he instructed his enlisted folk, if a guy didn't pass a piss test for cannabis, tell him to come back in 2 weeks. Keep testing him every 2 weeks until he passes, and we'll bring him in.
Wow.
If you've been following
It's
our
legal.
show, we
It is
talked
legal.
about the
Yeah,
Navy.
agreed.
If you
What do you?
piss
I'm
hot-
retired, Jake. I know it's legal.
That a girl, that a girl.
Sorry, Marty. I'm sorry, Marty. Go ahead. Yeah.
She's got a minivan in the driveway.
It was
just
very
for that.
emphatic.
Just for hot boxing.
But the
That's my hot boxing
Navy,
brand.
the Navy has a policy now that if you piss hot at boot, they'll
Yeah.
recycle you.
Meaning
That's
they'll
so
send you
nice.
back so
Yeah,
you're
they'll just
clean,
put
and
you
then
in the
still
next
let you
class.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Because in 4 weeks you're going to be clean anyway. Right.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
not if you're
you're
not if you're smoking it in basic. You gotta
They're
issue.
smoking in basic. Now that's
Yeah.
what I showed up to basic training stone, but I didn't get access to it while in basic training.
Again, that a girl.
Boom. I'm gonna chill my way through this. Stupid
Well, here's
That's too rough.
here's the
Rainbow
trick.
Week was awesome.
Here's the trick. What the Army's been doing. The active duty Army counts someone as a new recruit once they ship off to the preparatory course.
Oh,
man.
Not even the
boot camp.
basics. So as soon as they go to the prep course, they're like, check.
Recruitment
check.
numbers.
Got
I
it.
can count them.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
So dropouts may not be reflected in data briefed to
Yeah.
senior leadership or Congress because they're like, we got them. We got them for 6 months, but we got them. You know. In February, military.com reported on Defense Department Inspector General findings that the service might be skirting its own rules on recruiting, sending applicants to the prep course designed to help them meet body fat standards, even though they were too overweight to even qualify for the prep course.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Jeez, Biggie.
That's when the Army recruiter should have waved to the Navy and been like, I got you some ballast, boys.
It's like,
Low in the ships.
I remember your
Low in the
ballast
ships.
story. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember your
Send them
ballast
to the
story. That was
Navy.
he's
funny.
like, hey, show me a salute. He's like, well, this is as far as I can get because of my big fat arm. So that's good enough. Get on the bus.
The Navy loves you, son. Come on over.
I spent 2 years on the Fat Boy program on active duty because I was 2 pounds over the maximum for my height.
Whoa.
2 years.
Really?
They weighed me every 2 weeks.
And you know, they
Wow.
really, at least up until all of us, maybe Anna was different, but they never really relaxed using that stupid height weight table from the 50s.
Height weight
Oh,
table.
no.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They
Yep.
never were
Yep.
able to grow beyond that, you know?
Yep. Exactly.
All
Wow.
right. Lastly, the Inspector General found about 300 applicants were turned away at the prep course for being too overweight, a figure that would nearly nullify the Army's recruiting victory last year.
Wow. Wow.
They're
That says
playing
a lot.
around with the numbers.
That says a lot about us as a society, man. It's just
It
Yeah,
does.
that's
It does.
the disappointing
Like
thing.
I said,
Right.
we're either fat, dumb, and stupid.
It's like,
Yay!
Yeah.
Let's go, America!
come
what
on
they
into the
turn it-
Space Force. We'll give you
Great
a
old
watch,
America.
and
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
be good to go. We'll give
Hey,
you
There's
isn't
no
that
physical
crazy?
standard.
They strap a freaking watch and they can't even take it into closed areas. What's the point?
like-
Yeah.
Hey, do you have the XXX band to get around my wrist?
Band extender.
Like a
Like
belt
in the airplane.
extender.
Oh my God.
Band extender.
God.
It's a bad time for us, man.
Come on in, specialist one.
Yeah, you're in the
made
Fat
it.
Boy program, so you don't need that
Yeah,
extender anymore.
exactly.
Now you understand why we've got such good Coast Guard guys, because apparently they're not
Yeah.
fat and they're saving people all the
Oh,
time.
yeah,
So,
good
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Yeah,
The
good
The
like
only
point,
that.
good
coasties I
point.
ever knew were great people. So
yep.
Oh yeah, those
Yep.
guys are badass. They just brought in like 300 tons of coke into Florida
Did they?
again.
Oh, I didn't
They
know
do it.
Oh,
They
now
do it
she
like every
perks
other
up.
month.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
they're like,
Yeah.
oh, bring me back to my Iceland days.
I'm going to Florida next week, so you know. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Hey.
showed up to ALS stoned out of my corner, boys. All right.
But man,
Basic
was
high
I
as fuck.
fit.
ALS.
I could run forever.
Smoked that Fat
Oh,
Boy
that's
program.
Yep.
Oh, God Almighty.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Eric, take us home with some history.
Ooh, I got some good history for you tonight, guys. So I combined this a little bit. So I was looking for good space history.
Oh,
And-
I
Thank
don't believe
you.
that at all.
It's right behind me.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a far. It's actually a kind of a far reach. So we're talking about
Okay.
one of our own. We're talking about one of our own on March 11th, 1968. One of our own now. Early radar guy. So in Vietnam, Lima Site 85 was established, and it was a radar site, right? So
Right.
it was set up in Laos on the
Okay.
sheer side of a
Illegal.
mountain in Laos. Illegal. And so that's
Yeah.
why the military didn't run it, CIA did. But Air Force people occupied it. So on March 11th, 1968, at about 3 a.m., a group of North Vietnamese commandos attacked a
Whoa.
top secret American radar facility on top of the sheer mountainside in Laos. The station and its personnel, 19 Americans and a few dozen HMONG fighters, Hmong fighters,
Hamongs.
Hmongs,
Yeah.
were not equipped to repel a ground assault, and the station was quickly overrun.
Oh.
9 survivors managed to find a defensible shelter under a rock outcrop on a cliff edge just below the radar station. From there, the only uninjured man, a Chief Master Sergeant Richard Etchberger. You guys heard about this guy?
Oh, I know.
I read
that
about him in my
name.
senior NCO Academy stuff. That name.
Man, I don't know how I missed him, but yeah, Chief
Yeah.
Etchberger was able to hold off enemy troops with an M16 rifle while also radioing for help. Etchberger was killed hours later, but not before he helped save 8 men and earn the Medal of Honor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Right?
right. Yep, yep.
So it's pretty cool. And the story goes in, it shows his background, why they established the Lima site.
Yeah.
It started in 1966, and it was to track all the movements
that they were
couldn't
coming
get from.
into Laos. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
from Laos into Vietnam. Yeah.
So this was
Wow.
a great place to really steal some classified and sell it. No, wrong story. Sorry.
500 bones.
500 bones.
Way better back in that day.
Chief Etchberg,
Good point. Yeah, good point.
So M16 guy, space guy, early space
Damn,
guy, right?
man.
Radar.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
story.
that's pretty
Chief.
cool.
yeah, that's a good story.
That's pretty cool because there's
Wow.
only still a handful of enlisted Medal of Honor winners out of the Air Force, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Pitzenbarger, Etchberger.
And I bet you he's the only chief that ever did it.
Yeah. And it's funny.
bet he's
I
the only
swear I
E9 that ever
never
did it.
heard
Yeah.
of this guy. And when I read the story, I was like, what? How did I miss this guy? You
Yeah.
got the guy that was on the C-130 with the flares. You got Pitzenbarger, and you got
Right.
Never
Right.
heard
There's
of
not that many.
Etchberger.
Yeah.
nah.
yeah.
I had heard his name, but I didn't remember the story until you brought it up.
It doesn't go into
Man.
great detail of what he did. I mean,
know,
he
it
fought him
shouldn't.
off
Yeah,
with some
yeah.
M16,
Yeah.
but still a pretty cool story.
Well, I know you're a
Really
busy
cool.
guy. If you only had a little bit more time, you probably could have looked the guy up and then read his bio. But you got golf. You got golf.
As a matter of fact, I'm golfing Thursday morning. I golfed
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. Hey,
Going
so
up to Lafayette.
if he technically, I know
He's
he was
driving
a
right
chief,
past
and
me.
I know he's military, but all those guys were made to sign forms saying they were temporarily relieved of military duty, so that they could go in and do
Because
that
they
operation.
were. Oh, I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't think so because there's actual
I'm not
photographs.
saying so. I'm just bringing up an alternate,
They're
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
uniform.
potentially
site.
stolen valor. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh,
That's-
whoa.
I'm just kidding.
They were actually in uniform. So there was a few
Oh.
of them manning this radar, and it was all
Yeah.
Air Force.
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
pretty.
That was
that's
a cool
pretty
story,
hairy,
though.
man. Yeah, that's really good. Well
Yeah.
done, Eric. As always.
Oh,
Fun. And it was about a chief. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
come
good.
on.
I also did that for her.
Did you? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
That is a good story to look deeper into. That's a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
Oh,
that-
yeah.
that's
It
cool.
made it into it was a required
Fun.
training in the senior
Well,
NCO
it's like-
Academy. I know it was.
Let's be honest.
Well,
a
it's
lot
funny.
of Eric's and a lot
On
of
the-
history is like, okay, cool. But that one is downplayed. He downplayed that one a lot.
Eric,
do
you'd
not-
be
Do
be
not
happy
let me
to
bring
know.
in Douglas the camel. All right,
Is that
we'll
a
talk about
scraper?
Douglas.
That's
Oh.
true.
It is.
Yeah,
I work in the
exactly.
basement.
Oh my God.
He's got to scrape through the bullshit.
Shellac it off.
Of course. We'll talk
Um,
Douglas the camel, man. Don't do
You
it.
would be
Douglas.
happy to know, Eric, that Michelle guesses a lot of your history because she knows it as soon as you start it.
Oh,
So
very
she's
cool.
very good at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
I've
fact,
been married to a historian who is your Civil War episode with General, excuse me, what was it?
Petty.
Kelly. Was it
Petty.
excuse me.
Yeah.
My
General
husband's
Petty, yeah.
standing behind me watching it going, that's all true. So no,
That's cool.
we're really big into history. Yeah.
So
It was
there
really.
you go.
We've got a signed autograph book from him, the 12 battles that everybody
Oh,
should know, which was really
Yeah,
cool.
I've got to
Yeah,
look it
sure.
up. Now that I've got his name
Yeah.
and the title of the book,
General
I've got to get that.
It's
for
really
him.
cool.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Anna.
All right.
H-O.
Oh,
FN. Hoffnefjorde.
Hoffman.
was looking.
it's so true about
Hoffnefjorde.
history. I know nothing. You guys were talking about the Civil War, and I was like, huh?
Was that a war where they were nice to each other?
All wars are uncivil. Which one are they talking
That's
about?
true.
I
That's
know. I'm
true.
like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Okay, sorry.
That was good. Yeah, I thought we were gonna go long, but I think it was perfect. Chief, nice addition.
Yes.
We will huddle after this
Absolute
and
pleasure,
make our
yes.
decision and see.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Oh,
well, Anna's on like once a month nowadays because she's
True.
either, like drunk
Actually.
or she's tired
Oh.
or she's out of state and didn't realize it. And
I was traveling that day. And the
you were
day,
traveling for like
that
2
day,
weeks
yeah.
in a row. You went out there for a long time, out to Boston.
yeah, I went out there a week.
Boston. I'm from
Yeah.
Massachusetts myself. Boston.
What part?
Boston.
They're
Oh,
in
the
Mill.
west side. I'm as far away from Boston as you can be and still be in the state. The Berkshires.
They're in
That's where I
Millbury.
grew up. Oh, that's way out. Yeah, that's way out. Still beautiful.
She's like, I'm from Boston, way, way on the other side.
I
of the
said I
state,
was from
Boston.
Massachusetts. I didn't
Okay.
say I was from Boston. Yes, yes.
Hey, what part of Denver are you from? Vale. Oh, okay.
Sure.
Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is there going to be a vote here as to whether or not I can come back, or is that how?
Oh, we'll let you know.
Going to be?
We'll let you know.
Okay.
It's not
We'll
gonna
call
be as
you,
easy as
don't
you
call
signing
us.
up, so, we'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
But I think that's a good spot to end at. What do you
End-ep.
think?
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good end up. Do you know what end up is, Chief? This will make a decision
End-ep?
for us. Yeah. You know what index
End-ep.
is, right?
Index, yeah, end of exercise.
Yeah. This is end
So
up.
end up is end of the podcast.
End of episode.
Episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I say she can come back now.
That's a
I
strike
said
against her. That's a
exercise.
strike
They're with
I
against
had
her.
the exercise. I had that down pat.
Well, on behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not late for changeover. Crew, thanks for the week. Chief, thanks for coming on. That
Yes,
was a
thank
blast.
You.
And thanks to everyone out there watching and listening. And we'll see you next week.
Woohoo! See ya.
Have fun, guys. Good to see you again.